The courtroom was alive with laughter and cheers. Judge Richard Cole sat high on his bench, his gavel resting lazily in his hand. The officers in the room, a group of smug-faced men in uniform, clinked their glasses of whiskey together, celebrating yet another case dismissed in their favor. The black woman, standing silently in the middle of the chaos, watched them with an eerie calmness. She had been humiliated, threatened, and nearly dragged out in cuffs just moments ago. But now, her lips curled into a small, knowing smile. She reached into her pocket. The celebration came to a screeching halt as she pulled out a golden badge and held it high for all to see. The room froze. The officers, mid-toast, gawked at her in disbelief. Judge Cole's face turned ghostly white. "My name," she said, her voice sharp as a blade, "is Special Agent Maya Carter, and you are all under arrest." The silence was deafening. No one moved. No one spoke. Fear filled the room like thick smoke. The very same judge and officers who had mocked and dismissed her were now trapped in their own courtroom with nowhere to run. And then chaos erupted. 2 days earlier, Maya Carter stepped out of her car and stared up at the courthouse, her hands tightening into fists. She had been working on this case for nearly 3 years. Corruption ran deep in this town, with Judge Richard Cole at the center of it all. He had been protecting dirty cops, covering up crimes, and silencing anyone who tried to speak against him. Now, it was her turn to bring him down. Dressed in simple clothes and a tired expression, she played the part of just another ordinary woman seeking justice. The plan was risky. She had to let herself be treated like a helpless victim, pushed around and dismissed. If she acted too soon, they would catch on. Inside the courthouse, she sat quietly in the front row, watching as case after case ended the same way. A young man, barely 20, stood trembling before the judge, accused of resisting arrest. His mother sobbed quietly in the back. Judge Cole leaned back in his chair, smirking. "Officer Daniels, your report says he reached for your gun. That's enough reason to detain him." Case dismissed. The officer standing to the side, a bulky man with a cruel grin, nodded approvingly. The boy was dragged away, his cries ignored. Maya clenched her jaw. These men thought they were untouchable. It was finally her turn. She walked up to the stand, her heart pounding. "State your case," Judge Cole said, barely looking at her. "My brother was beaten by officers under your watch," she said firmly. "He was unarmed. He did nothing wrong." Judge Cole sighed dramatically. "And maybe he did something to provoke them. He was walking home from work. Then maybe he walked the wrong way." Laughter echoed from the police officers in the room. Maya's face remained neutral. "I have proof." Judge Cole rolled his eyes. "Miss, you need to understand something. The law is—" "Your Honor," Officer Daniels interrupted, stepping forward. "This woman has been harassing the station all week. She's making trouble." Judge Cole smirked. "Is that so?" Before Maya could react, 2 officers grabbed her arms. "You're wasting my time," the judge said. Escort her out. As she struggled, she saw them. The smiles, the arrogance, the certainty that she could do nothing. It was exactly what she needed. Later that night, she met her team in a dark alleyway. "It's worse than we thought," she said. "They're not just corrupt, they're bold about it. We need to move fast." Her partner, Agent Harris, nodded. "We've been gathering evidence for months. We have recordings, witness statements." "Not enough," Maya interrupted. "We need them to expose themselves in court. On record." A slow smile spread across Harris's face. "Then let's set the stage." The next morning, Maya returned to court, pretending to be broken and desperate. Judge Cole dismissed her case again, mocking her in front of the officers. And then, after the last case of the day, the celebration began. Whiskey bottles appeared. Laughter filled the courtroom. Maya stood quietly, waiting for the right moment. She watched as Judge Cole leaned back in his chair, raising a glass to the officers. "To justice," he sneered. Maya pulled out her badge. The moment they realized who she was, their world crumbled. Judge Cole's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. The officers instinctively reached for their weapons, but the doors burst open before they could react. FBI agents flooded the room. "Hand where we can see them," Harris shouted. Panic spread like wildfire. Officers scrambled, knocking over bottles, tripping over chairs. Judge Cole bolted from his seat, his face twisted in rage. "You tricked me," he bellowed. Maya's smile never wavered. "You did that to yourself." Before he could move, two agents grabbed him, twisting his arms behind his back. For the first time in his life, Judge Richard Cole was the one in cuffs. And Maya? She simply watched, arms crossed, as the men who had laughed at her were dragged away, their world falling apart around them. But just as she turned to leave, something caught her eye. One officer wasn't panicking. Officer Daniels stood at the back of the room, calm as ever, and he was smiling. Maya's stomach twisted. Something wasn't right. Then, he reached into his pocket, and the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the courtroom. A second of silence. Then chaos. Gunshots cracked through the air. Screams erupted. The sound of bodies hitting the ground, chairs crashing, agents shouting orders. It was all happening at once. Maya dropped low, her heart pounding. Her instincts kicked in. Find cover. Find a threat. Stay alive. She rolled behind the judge's bench as another round of gunfire rang out. Muzzle flashes illuminated the darkness for brief moments, revealing blurred figures ducking and moving. "Daniels is on the loose," she heard Harris yell through the noise. Maya reached for her gun, gripping it tightly. She could barely see anything, but she could hear the shuffling of feet, the groans of injured men, and somewhere in the distance, the distinct sound of a door creaking open. The back exit. She pushed up from the ground, moving quickly, ignoring the pain in her knee from the fall. Just as she reached the edge of the judge's bench, emergency backup power kicked in. The dim red glow of backup lighting flickered to life, casting eerie shadows across the wrecked courtroom. Bodies lay sprawled on the floor, some moaning, some too still. Agents were scrambling, securing the officers they could. But Daniels, he was gone. Harris rushed up to her, breathing hard. "He's escaping." Maya didn't hesitate. She bolted towards the back door, shoving it open. A long hallway stretched ahead, leading to the parking lot. She caught a glimpse of a figure disappearing around the corner. Daniels. Adrenaline fueled her as she sprinted after him. Her mind raced. Daniels wasn't just another dirty cop. He was their enforcer, the one who took care of problems, made people disappear, silenced witnesses before they could ever reach a courtroom. And now, he was trying to disappear himself. Maya burst through the exit and into the parking lot just in time to see a black SUV peeling out. She raised her gun. Bang! Bang! 2 shots cracked through the night. The first missed. The second shattered the back window. But the SUV kept going, tires screeching, disappearing into the city streets. Maya cursed under her breath. "We need a chase team now," she barked in her radio. Harris rushed out behind her, scanning the lot. "Damn it, we almost had them all." Maya didn't respond. She just stared after the SUV, her jaw clenched. Daniels wasn't running because he was scared. He was running because he had a plan. And that meant this wasn't over. By the time the main lights were back on and the wounded were being tended to, Maya stood in front of Judge Cole. The once mighty judge, now in cuffs, glared at her from where he sat slumped against the bench. "You think you've won?" he sneered, blood dripping from a cut on his forehead. "You think this changes anything?" Maya crouched down to his level. "Oh, it changes everything," she said coolly. "You're finished, Cole." He let out a wheezing chuckle. "I'm just a piece of the puzzle, sweetheart. And you just woke up something much worse." Her stomach twisted. "Daniels," she murmured. Cole grinned, his teeth red with blood. "He's not running, Agent Carter. He's setting the board." She grabbed him by the collar. "What board?" But Cole only laughed harder. Then from behind her an agent called out, "Maya, we found something." She let go of Cole and turned to Harris, who held up a small, black USB drive. "We pulled this from Cole's desk," he said. It was hidden in a fake drawer. Maya took it, turning it over in her fingers. Cole smirked. "Careful, Agent Carter. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed." She ignored him. "Get this to the tech team," she ordered Harris. Then she leaned down to Cole's ear and whispered, "Your days of power are over. You're going to rot in a cell for the rest of your life." Cole's smile didn't falter. "We'll see about that." Maya ignored the chill that ran down her spine. She had bigger things to worry about. Daniels was out there, and he had a head start. Later that night, Maya sat in front of a laptop, staring at the contents of the USB drive. The room was quiet, save for the soft hum of the computer. Harris stood behind her, arms crossed. The screen flickered, revealing a series of files. Photos, bank transactions, email threads. And then, one word caught her eye. Project Ironclad. She clicked it open. Her breath hitched. There, in a neatly organized folder, were classified government documents, files on judges, politicians, officers, even names she recognized from Washington. This wasn't just about Cole. This was bigger. Harris let out a low whistle. Jesus, this isn't just a corrupt judge and a few dirty cops. Maya's eyes narrowed. This is an entire network. She scrolled further, and then she stopped. A video file. She clicked play. A grainy recording popped up on the screen. It was taken in a dark room, a single man sitting in a chair, his face obscured by shadows. A distorted voice spoke. If you're seeing this, then you've gone too far. Walk away, or we will find you before you find us. The screen glitched, and then, suddenly, the laptop shut down. The lights in the room flickered, and outside, somewhere in the night, a car engine rumbled to life. Maya's blood ran cold. They weren't just watching. They were already here. Maya's hand shot toward her gun. Harris did the same. The soft rumble of the car engine outside sent a chill down her spine. Someone was out there, watching them. She could feel it. She exchanged a quick glance with Harris. They had to move now. Without a word, they slipped out the back exit of the small FBI field office. The night air was thick with tension. The parking lot was mostly empty, save for a handful of government vehicles. Then she saw it. A sleek black sedan idling at the far end of the lot. Its headlights were off. The windows tinted too dark to see inside. Waiting. Watching. Harris whispered, "You think it's Daniels?" Maya shook her head. Too soon. He's on the run. Then, without warning, the sedan's engine revved. The tires screeched as it lunged forward, speeding straight toward them. "Move!" Maya shouted, shoving Harris aside as the car came barreling toward them. They dove out of the way, just as the car smashed into the side of a parked van, the impact sending metal screeching through the night. Maya hit the pavement hard, rolling to a crouch, gun raised. The driver's side door flew open. A masked man leaped out, dressed in black, a silenced pistol in hand. He fired. Maya barely had time to duck behind a car as bullets zipped past her head. Harris fired back, his shots cracking through the night. One bullet found its mark. The masked man stumbled, gripping his shoulder. But instead of retreating, he pulled something from his belt. A small, blinking device. Maya's stomach dropped. A detonator. "No!" she yelled, but it was too late. The man slammed his thumb down on the button. Boom! The field office behind them erupted into flames. The explosion rocked the ground, sending debris flying. Windows shattered. Car alarms blared. The heat from the blast seared against Maya's skin as she shielded her face. When she looked back up, the masked man was gone. 15 minutes later, the area was swarming with law enforcement. Fire trucks doused the burning building, their red lights painting the scene in an eerie glow. Maya and Harris stood near the barricade, watching as agents combed through the wreckage. "This was a message," Harris muttered. Maya nodded. The attack wasn't about taking them out. It was about erasing evidence. Whoever they were up against, they weren't just some backwoods, corrupt cops. This was organized. And worst of all, they knew exactly where to find them. Maya pulled out her phone and dialed. "Give me a secure line to Director Jensen. We have a major problem." Back at the temporary FBI safe house, Maya sat at the kitchen table, staring at the classified documents they had managed to salvage from the USB. Harris paced. "Who do you think they are?" Maya exhaled. "A shadow network. They got people in the police force, the government, help, probably even in federal agencies." Harris stopped pacing, and Daniels was part of it. Maya nodded. "And now he's out there, cleaning up the mess. Which means he's coming for us next." Silence filled the room. Then, a notification popped up on her laptop. A new email. No sender. No subject. Just a single attachment. Maya hesitated for a split second before opening it. A grainy image loaded on the screen. Her breath caught in her throat. It was a photo of her apartment. taken just minutes ago. She wasn't just being watched. They were already inside. Before she could react, a second email came through. This time just 2 words. Run now. Then, the safe house lights went out. The room plunged into darkness. Maya's pulse slammed against her ribs. She reached for her gun, listening. Nothing. Then, a floorboard creaked. They were inside. Harris was already moving. He grabbed his gun and pressed his back against the wall. The glow from the laptop screen cast eerie shadows across his face. Maya raised 3 fingers. 3, 2, 1. She flicked the table over, sending the laptop crashing to the ground. The glow died instantly. Complete darkness. A split second of silence. Then, a door burst open. Heavy footsteps. Rushing toward them. Maya fired. The muzzle flash lit up the room for half a second, revealing 2 masked men. One went down, clutching his leg. The second lunged. Maya twisted away just as a knife sliced through the air where her throat had been seconds ago. She pivoted, slamming her elbow into the attacker's ribs. The man grunted, but didn't slow. He was trained. Harris fired twice. The second masked man dropped. The first one recovered fast. Too fast. He swung again. Maya barely dodged. The blade nicked her arm. She gritted her teeth and drove her knee into his gut. The man stumbled. Just enough. Bang. Harris put a bullet in his shoulder. He hit the ground, groaning. Silence. The only sound was Maya's ragged breathing. Harris flipped on a flashlight. The safe house was wrecked. Furniture overturned, bullet holes in the walls. The 2 masked men lay motionless, one groaning, the other completely still. Maya grabbed the still conscious one by the collar. Who sent you? The man let out a weak chuckle. Blood dribbled from his mouth. It's already too late. Agent Carter, he rasped. A chill ran down her spine. Then she saw it. A phone in his hand. And on the screen, a countdown. 005. 004. Maya's stomach dropped. Bomb. G.O., she screamed, shoving Harris toward the back door. They bolted out of the house, just as... Boom! The explosion sent them flying. The force slammed Maya into the ground. Her ears rang. Her vision swam. For a second, she couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then hands grabbed her, pulling her up. Harris. They stumbled to their feet, coughing as thick smoke swallowed the air. The safe house was gone. Flames roared from what was left of it. Pieces of burning would crash to the ground. Maya barely had time to process before her phone buzzed in her pocket. A new text. No number. That was your last warning. Walk away. Her hands shook as she stared at the message. Harris looked at her. They're not trying to scare us anymore. Maya exhaled sharply, pushing the fear down. No, she said. They're trying to kill us. An hour later, Maya sat in the passenger seat of an unmarked FBI vehicle as Harris drove down a dark stretch of highway. They had left the city behind, heading to a second, even more secure safe house deep in the countryside. The road was empty, just trees and shadows. Harris kept glancing at the rearview mirror. You thinking what I'm thinking? Maya nodded. They'll try again. Whoever they were, they had resources. They knew where she lived, where she worked. They had just bombed a federal safe house like it was nothing. This wasn't just about Judge Cole anymore. This was bigger. And Daniels. Daniels was still out there, cleaning up the mess. Harris muttered, We need a plan. Maya clenched her fists. We need to stop running, she said. Harris raised a brow. You suggesting we go on offense? Maya's eyes hardened. We don't wait for them to find us. She checked her gun. We find them first. Harris smirked. Now, that's the Maya Carter I know. Just as he said it, headlights flared behind them. A black SUV, gaining fast. Harris cursed. We got company. Maya grabbed her gun. The SUV's high beams flashed. Then, the passenger window rolled down, and a rifle barrel emerged. Maya's stomach dropped. They weren't trying to chase them. They were going to take them out. Brace yourself, Harris yelled. Then the first shot rang out. The bullet shattered the back windshield. Glass sprayed through the car as Harris yanked the wheel, sending them veering off the road. Hold on, he shouted. The SUV stayed right on their tail. The rifle flashed again, bang. The side mirror exploded. Maya twisted in her seat, lifting her gun. Bang, bang. She fired 2 shots. aiming for the tires. Miss. The SUV swerved, but kept coming. Harris jerked the car to the right, speeding onto a dirt road. Trees blurred past them as they tore through the darkness. Where the hell are we going? Harris shouted. Anywhere but here. Maya snapped, reloading. Another shot whizzed past her head. The SUV's driver was relentless, pushing them towards something. A trap. Maya's mind raced. They needed to turn the tables. She spotted a sharp turn up ahead. Too sharp. A normal driver wouldn't make it at this speed. But Harris wasn't a normal driver. Take the turn. Maya shouted. Harris grinned. Hold on. At the last second, he yanked the wheel hard left. The tires screeched against the dirt. The back of the car fishtailed wildly. For a moment, it felt like they were going to flip, but then they made it. The SUV? Not so lucky. The driver saw the turn too late. Too fast. Too sharp. The massive black vehicle tried to adjust, but the tires lost grip. For a single, horrifying second, it tilted. Then, crash. The SUV barreled off the road, flipping over itself, metal crunching, glass shattering. Then silence. Maya and Harris skidded to a stop, breathing hard. Holy! Harris exhaled, gripping the wheel. Maya didn't waste time. She was already out of the car, gun raised, moving toward the wreckage. The SUV lay on its side, smoke rising from the hood. A groan. Then movement. The passenger door was being kicked open. Maya aimed, ready to fire. Don't move. The door creaked open. A man stumbled out. Tall, broad shoulders, blood dripping from a gash on his forehead. And even through the darkness, Maya recognized him immediately. Daniels, the enforcer, the cleaner, the ghost. And he was still alive. He lifted his hands, coughing. Agent Carter, he said, voice rough but amused. Didn't think you had it in you. Maya's grip tightened on the gun. You're under arrest. Daniels grinned. Then, he reached into his jacket. Maya fired. The bullet hit him square in the shoulder. He staggered back, groaning but still standing. Damn, Daniels grunted, gripping his wound. You don't hesitate, do you? Then, before she could fire again, he threw something. A small metal canister. Maya's stomach dropped. Flashbang. Boom. A burst of white light blinded her. A shock wave slammed into her skull. Her ears rang violently. She stumbled back, disoriented. Gun loose in her grip. Footsteps. Fast. By the time her vision cleared, Daniels was gone. 20 minutes later, Maya sat on the hood of their wrecked car, pressing a cold water bottle to her temple. Harris stood nearby, kicking at a loose rock. I can't believe we had him. Maya exhaled sharply. Yeah, and now he knows we won't stop. Harris glanced at her. What's our move? She pulled out the only thing they had left. The USB drive. Daniels had tried to kill them. Twice. That meant whatever was on here was big. We decode this. Maya said firmly. She met Harris's eyes. And we take them down before they take us down. Harris grinned. Now you're talking. Maya pulled out her phone and dialed. Who are you calling? Harris asked. Maya's jaw tightened. The one person who might be able to crack this. Harris frowned. Who? Maya took a deep breath. My brother. Maya's hands were steady as she held the phone to her ear, but her heart wasn't. Ring. Harris watched her, waiting. Ring. Maya clenched her jaw. She hadn't spoken to her brother in 2 years. Not since. Click. A deep voice came through the line. Didn't think I'd ever hear from you again. Maya exhaled. I wouldn't call if it wasn't important, Noah. Silence. Then a low chuckle. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maya ignored the sting. I need your help. Harris raised a brow. Noah sighed. You feds always need something. This isn't a request from the FBI, Maya said. This is me, your sister, asking you for help. A pause. Then his voice softened just slightly. What's the job? Maya glanced at the USB in her palm. I need you to crack something. Fast. Another pause. Where are you? Maya hesitated. We'll come to you. Noah chuckled again. Smart girl. Same place as always. Then, click. He hung up. Harris crossed his arms. Your brother, huh? Didn't know you had family. Maya slid the phone into her pocket. Yeah, well, we don't exactly do reunions. Harris gave her a knowing look, but didn't press. Where is he? Maya exhaled. About 2 hours north. Harris nodded and climbed into the car. Then let's move before Daniels finds us again. Maya slid into the passenger seat. She had just reopened a door she never thought she'd walk through again, and she had no idea what was waiting on the other side. 2 hours later, they pulled up to an old, run-down mechanic shop on the outskirts of a small town. It looked abandoned. Rusted cars littered the yard, graffiti covered the walls, and a flickering neon sign read, Noah's Garage. Harris frowned. This your brother's place? Maya smirked. Yeah, don't let the look fool you. She stepped out and knocked on the metal garage door. 3 short raps, then 2. A second later, the door creaked open. A tall man with dark, scruffy hair and tired eyes stood in the doorway. Noah Carter. He looked her up and down, arms crossed. You look like hell. Maya gave a dry chuckle. Yeah, it's been a fun week. Noah's eyes flicked to Harris. Who's this? Harris. He introduced himself. FBI. Noah snorted. Figures. Maya held up the USB. Can we go inside? Noah studied her for a moment, then stepped aside. Yeah. Come on. Inside, the garage was much more than a mechanic shop. Computers lined the back wall, multiple screens flashing with data. A high-tech setup hidden behind the disguise of an auto repair business. Harris whistled. Impressive. Noah ignored him. All right, sis. What's so important that you came crawling back? Maya didn't flinch. She placed the USB on the table. This. Noah raised a brow but didn't ask questions. He sat down, plugged the drive into his system, and started typing. A loading bar appeared. Then, a firewall warning. Noah whistled. Someone really doesn't want this cracked. Maya folded her arms. Can you get in? Noah shot her an amused look. Please. He cracked his knuckles and got to work. Lines of code flashed across the screen. Firewalls fell. Layers peeled back. Then, the screen flickered. A folder appeared. Noah clicked it open, and what they saw made Maya's blood run cold. Classified files. Names. Locations. Transactions. Bribes. Murders. High-ranking officials. And then, one name stood out. Harris whispered, "Holy shit." Maya froze, because there, in the middle of the list, was her own name. Maya Carter, target pending. Her stomach twisted. She wasn't just investigating the conspiracy. She was on their hit list. Noah exhaled. Maya, what the hell did you get yourself into? Before she could answer, the security alarms blared. Someone was outside. Noah pulled up the security feed. The cameras flickered to life. A black SUV. 2 figures stepping out. One of them? Daniels. Maya's grip tightened on her gun. Noah cursed. You brought trouble to my shop? Maya didn't take her eyes off the screen. Daniels looked straight at the camera. Then, in the grainy feed, he smirked and lifted his hand, holding a detonator. Maya's breath caught. Get down, she shouted. Boom. The front of the garage exploded. The explosion ripped through the garage. The walls shook violently, glass shattered, and metal groaned as fire and debris rained down. Maya hit the ground hard, ears ringing, vision blurring. A wave of heat washed over her as smoke filled the air. Somewhere in the chaos, she heard Noah cursing, heard Harris groaning. But the only thing that mattered, Daniels was here, and he wasn't stopping until they were dead. Maya forced herself up, coughing through the smoke. The front of the garage was a wreck. Flames licked at the shattered entrance. The security cameras fried, the neon Noah's Garage sign barely hanging on. Outside, shadows moved. Daniels and his men. Closing in. No time to think. No time to plan. Maya grabbed Noah, dragging him up. We need to move. Now. Noah, covered in dust, coughed. You think? Harris stumbled to his feet, shaking his head. They're coming. Maya reached for a gun, just as bullets tore through the smoke. Bang, bang, bang. Go, she shouted. The 3 of them raced toward the back exit, dodging falling debris. Noah yanked open a door, revealing a dimly lit back alley. Maya shoved him through first, then Harris. A bullet whizzed past her cheek. She spun, firing blindly into the smoke. A shout of pain. She didn't wait to see who it was. She ran. The alley was narrow, lined with rusted dumpsters and a single black car parked at the end. Noah stumbled forward, reaching into his pocket. We take my car. Maya was already shaking her head. No, they'll expect that. Harris looked back. Then what? Another explosion rocked the building. The garage was collapsing. They had seconds. Maya's mind raced. Then she saw it. An old motorcycle leaning against a dumpster. Noah followed her gaze. Oh, hell no. Maya grabbed his arm. You still know how to ride? Noah glared at her. Do you? Maya smirked. Guess we're about to find out. Daniel's men rounded the corner. No time. Maya swung onto the bike, kicked the engine to life, and reached for Harris's hand. He hesitated, then jumped on. Noah cursed but climbed on behind her. Hold on, she shouted. Then, she gunned it. The tires screeched as they sped down the alley. Gunfire erupted behind them, bullets ricocheting off dumpsters, shattering windows. Daniel's men were already piling into their SUVs. They're following, Harris shouted. Maya pushed the bike harder. The wind ripped past them as they burst onto the main road, weaving between cars and headlights. Noah clung to her waist. If you kill me, I'm going to haunt you. Maya grinned. Then hang on. Behind them, the black SUVs gave chase. Engines roared. Tires squealed. And then, Daniels leaned out the window, a rifle in his hands. Maya's heart dropped. Then, bang, a bullet slammed into the bike's rear tire. The motorcycle lurched. They were going down. Maya's grip tightened. Brace, she screamed. Then they crashed. The world flipped. Maya felt herself ripped from the motorcycle, her body twisting through the air. The impact came hard. Her shoulders slammed into the pavement, her breath snatched from her lungs. Sparks and metal screeched as the bike skidded across the road. Somewhere behind her, she heard Harris grunt in pain. Noah hit the ground rolling, groaning, but he was alive. Then headlights. Maya barely had time to react before a black SUV hurtled straight toward her. She rolled just in time. The SUV missed her by inches, tires screeching. She gritted her teeth, reached for her gun. Bang, bang, 2 shots. One bullet shattered the SUV's windshield. The driver jerked the wheel. The vehicle spun out of control, smashing into a row of parked cars. A brief moment of silence. Maya pushed herself up, ignoring the pain. Her vision was still spinning, but she forced her focus. Harris was alive, crawling to his knees. Noah was clutching his arm, wincing. You owe me a new bike, he muttered. Maya ignored him, eyes locked on the wrecked SUV. The doors burst open. Daniels, still standing. His men were stumbling, recovering, but Daniels was already moving. Maya raised her gun. Too late. Daniels tapped. They hit the ground hard, rolling. His strength was brutal, pinning her. His hands closed around her throat. Maya gasped, struggling. His voice was calm. Too calm. You don't know what you're fighting, Carter. Her vision darkened. Then Noah. He swung a crowbar. Crack. Daniel stumbled back, dazed. Maya sucked in air, coughing. Harris grabbed her arm. We gotta go now. More SUVs were approaching. Daniel's back up. Maya shook off the haze, forced herself up. They ran. They cut through the alleyways, weaving through the city's back streets. The sound of sirens filled the night. They're calling in more men, Harris panted. Maya's mind raced. They needed a plan. Fast. Noah stopped suddenly, pointing. There. A sewer grate. Maya didn't hesitate. She dropped to her knees and yanked it open. The stench hit her instantly. Noah grimaced. I hate this idea. Get in, Maya snapped. Harris jumped first, sliding down. Noah followed. Maya hesitated just a second, looking back. Daniels was already at the alley entrance. Their eyes locked. For the first time, Maya saw something in his expression. Not anger, not frustration, but interest, like he was enjoying this. Then, she dropped into the darkness. The last thing she heard before the sewer grate slammed shut above her. Daniel's voice, soft, amused. Run all you want, Carter. I'll always find you. The sewer was cold, dark, and suffocating. The air was thick with the stench of waste, but Maya barely noticed. She landed hard, knees scraping against the damp concrete. Above them, the sound of footsteps echoed. Daniel's men. Searching. Noah groaned. This is officially the worst night of my life. Maya pressed a finger to her lips. Quiet. Harris nodded, listening. The footsteps above them were scattered, confused. They don't know where we went, he whispered. Maya exhaled. Good. But they wouldn't have long. Daniels was smart. Too smart. He would figure it out. Noah shifted, wiping grime from his face. All right, sis. What now? Maya pulled out her phone. The screen was cracked, but working. She checked the time. They had 2 hours before sunrise. Harris leaned in. We need a safe spot. Regroup. Plan. Maya nodded. I know a place. Noah raised a brow. Somewhere that won't get us blown up? Maya ignored him. They started moving. Slow, careful. The underground tunnels were narrow, the ground slick. Noah muttered, How do you even know about these tunnels? Maya gave a half-smirk. You're not the only one with secrets. Harris chuckled. You two are fun. They kept moving, turning down twisting corridors, staying in the shadows. Above them, the city was still alive, sirens blaring, tires screeching. Daniels was hunting, and they were running out of time. 15 minutes later, they reached a rusted metal ladder. Maya climbed first, pushing open a hidden grate. She peeked out. Clear. She pulled herself up, then helped the others out. They were in a crumbling warehouse near the industrial district. Abandoned. Safe. For now. Noah brushed dirt off his jacket. Okay, this was fun, but what the hell is going on? Maya turned to him. I told you. We're in deep. Noah scoffed. Yeah, no kidding. Some psycho just blew on my garage. Harris leaned against a crate, rubbing his temples. It's bigger than that. Maya exhaled. Time for the truth. She pulled out the USB. This is what they're trying to kill us for. Noah narrowed his eyes. What's on it? Maya met his gaze. Everything. Noah hooked up his laptop, working fast. The USB files flashed across the screen. Maya pointed. Go back. That list. Noah scrolled. The names appeared again. Police officers, judges, FBI agents, and government officials. Harris leaned in. These are powerful people. Maya clenched her jaw. This isn't just about Cole. This is a network. Noah scanned the data. Then his face darkened. This isn't just a network, he muttered. Maya's stomach twisted. What? Noah turned the laptop. A new folder. Labeled Project Ironclad. Maya clicked it open. Her breath caught. Blueprints, military-grade equipment, and a list of scheduled shipments. Harris frowned. What the hell is this? Noah scrolled further. Weapons, smuggling, black market deals. Maya's pulse pounded. This wasn't just corruption. This was an operation, and someone high up was pulling the strings. Then, Noah froze. His face went pale. Maya frowned. What? Noah swallowed hard. Then he pointed. Maya's heart stopped. Because there at the bottom of the file. A name she never expected. Harris leaned in. Wait, is that? Maya nodded slowly. Because the name on the screen was Director Samuel Jensen, the head of the FBI, Maya's boss. Harris took a step back. No way. Noah shook his head. This is legit. Jensen's involved. Maya's chest tightened. Her own boss. The man she trusted. He was part of it. And now she knew. Daniels wasn't just hunting them. He was working for Jensen. This went all the way to the top. Maya sat back, gripping the edge of the table. Harris ran a hand down his face. Maya, if Jensen's in on this. Maya cut him off. Then we're not safe anywhere. Noah exhaled. So what's the plan? Maya's eyes burned with determination. Simple. She stared at the screen, at Jensen's name. We take them down. All of them. Then, a gunshot. The warehouse window shattered. Maya hit the ground. Noah ducked. Harris grabbed his weapon. We've been found. Then outside, engines roared. More SUVs. More men. And leading them, Daniels. With a smirk on his face. Maya's pulse pounded. No time to run. No time to hide. They were outnumbered. And this time, there was no escape. Gunfire erupted. Bullets ripped through the warehouse walls. Splinters flying in every direction. The air filled with the sharp scent of burning gunpowder. Maya hit the ground, rolling behind a crate. Harris did the same, his gun already raised. Noah, still crouched by the laptop, froze. Oh, hell no. Maya grabbed his collar and dragged him down. Stay low. More gunshots. The windows shattered. Outside, Daniel's men were advancing, moving in fast. Their SUV lights cast long shadows through the gaping holes in the walls. Maya's mind raced. They had minutes, maybe seconds, before they were surrounded. Harris fired blindly toward the windows. "We need an exit now." Noah peeked up and cursed. "I have an idea, but you're not going to like it." Maya ducked as another round of bullets tore through the crate beside her. "Try me." Noah pointed to the back wall. "See that old generator?" Maya's eyes flicked toward it, a rusted gas-powered beast, half covered in dust. Harris squinted. "What about it?" Noah grinned. "I'm going to make it explode." Maya blinked. "Excuse me." Noah reached into his bag, pulling out a bundle of old cables. "This place still has an active fuel line, but it's unstable. If I can't overload the generator." Maya cut him off. "It'll blow the whole damn wall." Noah's grin widened. "Exactly." Harris fired 2 more shots, then ducked behind a barrel. "Make it fast." Outside, Daniels watched the warehouse with eerie patience. One of his men leaned toward him. "They're pinned. Should we move in?" Daniels smiled. "Not yet." He checked his watch. They had nowhere to go, and he wanted Maya Carter to feel that hopelessness before he pulled the trigger. Inside, Noah worked fast. Sparks flew as he stripped wires, hands moving. Maya crouched beside him, covering his back. "How long?" 10 seconds. Maya's grip tightened on her gun. They didn't have 10 seconds. A figure appeared in the blown-out window. A gun raised. Maya spun, bang. The man dropped. More shadows moved outside. Harris reloaded. "We're outnumbered." Noah pressed 2 wires together. The generator sparked. The whole room shuddered. Noah's eyes widened. You might wanna." Maya grabbed him. "Run." They bolted toward the side entrance. Behind them, boom. The blast tore through the back wall, sending flames and debris flying. The shock wave slammed into them, throwing them forward. Maya hit the ground, rolling. She blinked, dazed, her ears ringing. Harris coughed, pushing himself up. "We're alive." Noah grinned. "I told you it'd work." Maya grabbed his arm. "Move. Now." The explosion had given them a way out, but Daniels wouldn't be far behind. Outside, Daniels stood still as the flames crackled before him. His men rushed forward, shouting orders, weapons raised. But Daniels? He just smiled. A slow, knowing smile. "They're getting desperate," he murmured. The man beside him frowned. "Should we pursue?" Daniels took a deep breath. "No." He turned toward one of his men and handed him a phone. "Send it." The man hesitated. "Are you sure?" Daniel's smile widened. "Oh, I'm very sure." The man nodded and pressed send. Somewhere miles away, Maya Carter's phone buzzed. A single message. A photo attachment. Maya, Harris, and Noah hid in the shadows of the abandoned rail yard, catching their breath. Maya felt the buzz in her pocket. She pulled out her phone, frowning. Then, her blood ran cold. The photo was of a small apartment. Her apartment. And standing in front of it was her mother. Daniels had found her. Maya's chest tightened. Then, another message. "One last chance, Agent Carter. Surrender, or she dies." Maya's hand shook. Harris saw the screen over her shoulder. "Maya." Noah's face darkened. "What the hell is this?" Maya's stomach twisted. Daniels wasn't bluffing. If it didn't stop him now, her mother would be dead by sunrise. She looked up, fire burning in her eyes. "We're not running anymore." Harris swallowed. "What are we doing?" Maya clenched her jaw. "We're ending this. Tonight." Maya's heart pounded. Her mother's face on the screen. Daniel's message like a knife to her chest. This wasn't just a fight anymore. It was personal. She clenched her jaw, eyes burning. Daniels had made a mistake. Harris took a deep breath. "All right, I'm in." Noah stared at the phone, then at Maya. His fist tightened. "Let's go get Mom." They stole a car from the rail yard, a beat-up sedan that barely ran. But it would do. Maya drove, eyes locked on the road. Harris checked his gun. "We can't just walk into a trap." Maya's voice was cold. "We won't." Noah, sitting in the back, leaned forward. "So what's the plan, genius?" Maya's grip tightened on the wheel. "We do exactly what Daniels doesn't expect." Noah frowned. "Which is?" Maya's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror. "We make it a trap for him." Daniel stood outside Maya's apartment, his smirk never fading. Her mother sat inside, tied to a chair, unharmed. For now. One of his men checked his watch. "She should be here soon." Daniel smirked. Oh, she will be. He knew Maya Carter. She wasn't the type to run. She was the type to walk straight into hell. And tonight, he was the devil waiting for her. 11:45 p.m. Maya pulled the car into an empty lot a block away. She could see the apartment building. The black SUVs parked outside. They were expecting her to come through the front door. They were wrong. She turned to Harris. You take the back entrance. Noah, you cut the power. I'll go in from above. Noah's brow furrowed. Above. Maya nodded toward the adjacent rooftop. Noah blinked. Oh, hell no. You're not climbing that. Maya was already getting out of the car. Noah groaned. Why is she like this? Harris grinned. She's your sister, man. Maya moved fast. She scaled the fire escape of the building across from hers, boots silent against the metal. 1 floor. 2. 3. She crouched, heart steady. Below, Daniels and his men waited. They had no idea she was already above them. She pulled out her phone. Text to Harris. Go now. Text to Noah. Lights out in 60 seconds. Then, she moved. Inside the building, Daniels checked his watch. Where is she? One of his men shrugged. Maybe she... The lights cut out. Total darkness. Daniels' smirk vanished. Then, bang, bang. Gunfire erupted from the back entrance. Daniel spun. Move. Secure the hostage. But was already too late. Maya dropped from the ceiling vent, landing silently. One guard turned. Too slow. Maya struck fast, grabbing his wrist, twisting crack. Gun down. Another spun toward her. Maya didn't hesitate. One shot. Down. Her mother's gasp came from the corner. Maya! Maya rushed over, cutting the ropes. Mom, I got you. The older woman's hands shook, but she nodded. You shouldn't have come. Maya helped her up. I had to. Then, footsteps. Daniels. Right there. Maya spun, but he already had his gun pointed at her mother. Put it down, he said smoothly. Maya's heart stopped. Her mother gasped, frozen in place. Daniel's smirk returned. See, Carter, no matter how good you are. He pressed the gun harder against her mother's temple. I'm always one step ahead. Maya's mind raced. Harris and Noah were still fighting off his men. No backup. No escape. She had one shot. One chance. Her fingers tightened around her gun. Daniel saw it. He laughed. Go ahead, he taunted. Try it. But you better not miss. Maya's breathing slowed. Her grip steadied. Her mother's eyes locked on hers. And in that moment, Maya made her decision. Then, she fired. The gunshot echoed through the room. For a split second, everything was still. Daniel's smirk vanished. His body jerked as the bullet struck him in the hand. Bang! His gun clattered to the floor. Maya didn't hesitate. She lunged forward, grabbing her mother and pulling her away. Daniel staggered back, clutching his bleeding hand. His eyes burned with fury. You! Bang! Bang! Harris burst through the door, gun raised. 2 more of Daniel's men went down. Noah came in right behind him, panting. We clear. Maya shoved her mother toward Noah. Get her out of here. Noah didn't argue. He grabbed their mother's hand and rushed her toward the exit. Daniels gritted his teeth. His men were falling. The fight was lost. But instead of panic, he laughed. Maya's blood ran cold. Daniel's voice was calm, almost amused. You still don't get it, do you? Maya kept her gun trained on him. Oh, I get it. She stepped forward. You think you're untouchable. Daniel's smirk didn't fade. I know I am. Then, he reached into his pocket. Maya's finger tightened on the trigger. Don't. Daniels paused. Then, slowly, he pulled out a phone and turned the screen toward her. Maya's stomach dropped. On the screen was a live video feed of Director Jensen, sitting in his office, sipping whiskey. The FBI director looked directly at the camera and smiled. Jensen's voice was calm, smooth. Agent Carter, I assume you're about to arrest my associate. Maya stared. You really are behind this. Jensen took a slow sip of his drink. I told you once, Carter. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. Maya's pulse pounded. You think you can stop this? Jensen continued. You think taking down Daniels means anything? We have judges, politicians, agents. His eyes darkened. You are nothing. Maya's jaw clenched. Then why are you so scared? Jensen's smirk faltered. Maya took a step closer to Daniels. You wouldn't be talking to me if you weren't afraid. Daniel stiffened. Jensen's face hardened. This ends tonight, Carter. Maya nodded. I agree. Then, she raised her gun and shot Daniels in the leg. Daniels collapsed with a roar of pain. Jensen's smile vanished. Maya tilted her head. I just took out your enforcer. You still think I'm nothing? Jensen's eyes burned. Maya smirked. Guess what? We have everything. The USB, the names, the files. Jensen's jaw tightened. You can't touch me. Maya's smile didn't waver. See, that's the funny thing about corruption, Director. It works great until someone shines a light on it. She lifted her phone, revealing a second live feed. Jensen's eyes widened. Maya had been broadcasting the entire conversation to every major news outlet in the country. Live. Harris grinned. Smile, Director. You're on national television. Jensen's face drained of color. Phones across the room buzzed. The world had just learned the truth. Daniels groaned on the floor. Harris and Maya exchanged a look. Sirens. Loud. Getting closer. Jensen's expression twisted. And then, he hung up. Maya stared at the blank screen. Then, she heard it. A single gunshot. Jensen had just taken himself out. Maya closed her eyes. It was over. Daniels was in custody. The corruption was exposed. And Jensen? Dead. 2 days later, Maya stood on the steps of the FBI headquarters, staring out at the city. Harris stepped up beside her. They're offering you a promotion. Maya exhaled. I don't want it. Harris smirked. Didn't think so. The corrupt system was broken. But it wasn't gone. There would be others. Maya's mother was safe. Noah had gone back to his life. But Maya? She had work to do. Harris stuffed his hands into his pockets. So what now? Maya watched as the sun rose over the city. She smiled. Now, we find the next one. And with that, she walked away, ready for the next fight.